Welcome to Bonehead Weekly, and this is part three of 1990. Now, some people, gentlemen, looking at our viewers and how much they have declined for the part one and part two of 1990, would say that horse has done been shod, and we should probably not do any more 1990. But you know what we're going to do, gentlemen?
We're going to finish. We finished what we
We
began.
finished what we
We
began,
did
whether it was a
17
full
episodes on
folly or
Stephen
not.
King. We did 17 episodes on Stephen King.
And we're probably due for another one.
We did two on Vincent Price, which led
Let's
to our
do.
first level of hate.
I want to wait till Life of Chuck comes out because I'm really excited about that one this summer. And the
Yeah.
trailer looks dead up like the book, and I really enjoyed that story.
Is The Long Walk, is that Stephen King as well?
Yeah, that looks
Yeah.
good too. It's
Yeah.
also another good, it's a good short Bachman book, but it looks like they did it. And if they did it, Chad, that movie, I don't, depending on how graphic they go, it's not that it's graphic, it's just those are children and
And
it don't end well.
yeah, if you know Stephen King,
It's
is not going to be happy.
even for Stephen King, Chad, that don't end well. Those kids
And
walk till they die.
I know it's got Mark Hamill in it too as his
Yeah.
starring role, and I'm so excited.
All right. So 1990, James, where are we at?
I'm sorry, my computer just started playing waltzes for some reason because I loaded a screen to pull up the thing and it played a scene of a waltz. I don't know.
The
Hold
last
on,
one?
it started again.
Are we
Let me
going to do the
stop it.
band?
Waltzing
Rolled
Matilda.
into Nazareth. I was feeling about
See, I
half
went
past
waltzing
dead.
Matilda. I prefer the Dubliners version of Waltzing Matilda, but and I won't go Waltzing Matilda no
Oh,
more.
yeah? Well, how about up on Cripple Creek?
Well, that's
She
where she
mends
sends
me
me.
when I spring a leak. She
She
mends
mends
me.
me.
I don't have to speak. She defends me. She's a
Well,
drunkard's dream, if I ever did see one.
and speaking of Drunkard's Dream, gentlemen, we start August
With Levon Helm.
with a Wednesday release, a Western that came out on Wednesday, August 1st. Getting a jump on the August 3rd releases was the film Young Guns 2.
Oh, that movie played for years. It didn't play for years. Well, I remember it played. It did for me. It probably was only a couple months, but to me, it played for years at Fugits Cinema. That was one popular picture in Hazard, Kentucky.
Made $44 million, so not a huge hit nationally, but
No, but that's not probably bad in
no, it's
1990.
respectable numbers at that time.
Yeah. Why ain't we got one of them Young Guns 3?
I heard a rumor that it may happen. I don't, I,
Yeah, he
it's
talked about it. I watched a little bit of when he was at C2E2 or whatever in Chicago.
yeah.
He finally did it. Yeah, Emilio Estevez Sheen finally did a convention appearance.
Yep. So,
By the way, I like Young Guns and Young Guns too. Those are fun movies.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, they're fun. They're
I still prefer the TV show Young Riders with Teaspoon.
And I'll give them a little credit. Young Guns 2 has the balls to kill off most of their characters.
yeah. I mean, historically, what
But
happened?
Chad,
I
if you were
know.
trying to make sequels,
I know.
Now, Young Gun, if we do get Young Guns 3, would it really be Young Guns? Wouldn't it be Pensioner Guns or something at this point?
Well, at the same time, I don't know how you can make a Young Guns 3 when it shows his death in Young Guns 2.
Chad, they
This
made
time
a
they're
sequel
ghosts.
to Devil's Rejects.
It's true.
They shouldn't have,
Oh no, they shouldn't have.
but they did.
So, August 3rd, gentlemen, following Young Guns,
Yeah.
three movies came out. No, so Young Guns made $44 million, a little bit
Yes.
over. The movies that followed that weekend actually did not end up being big successes. One of them actually ended up being such not a big success that it actually delayed some other projects. That would be the second highest following Young Guns that premiered that week. DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Land.
I
I
liked it as a kid,
I do too.
but
Actually, I
I didn't
like it
see it in the
now.
theater.
I didn't see it in the theater, but I loved it, and I watched it a few years ago, and I still love it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
no, I mean,
it's
if you
DuckTales.
like the show, it's a movie version of the show, which is what I
Yeah.
wanted it to be.
Yeah. Thank God the caveman boy wasn't in there.
Jumpstart
Caveman.
my heart. Um, the other movie, so that made $18 million during its entire throughout theatrical run. There it is. Making $16 million during its theatrical run was the drama Mo Better Blue.
That he made how much?
16 million.
16 or 60?
16. Teen.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, man, that's a lot of cabbage. I didn't realize it was that popular. Okay.
And the movie that did not do well, though, according to IMDb, is very highly rated at 7.3 out of 10 at least. It originally was filmed and released internationally in '89, but it came to America and premiered in 1990. Whit Stillman was the director and writer of Metropolitan.
Yeah, I've seen it. Well, it's
There
been
you
a
go.
while.
And that is the end of the first weekend in August. Moving to the second weekend in August, we have three movies. One has been remade, one was a modest hit, and one killed a potential franchise. The one that was remade was the biggest hit that came out the weekend, Flatliners, making $61.4 million.
I saw Flatliners
I don't
actually
think
in
I
the
ever knew
theater.
Flatliners was a remake.
It
Well,
was remade a couple years ago.
they remade it.
Oh, sorry. I thought
Yeah.
you said, yeah,
No,
God.
it would be remade. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Okay.
really enjoyed Flatliners, the original.
It's an interesting movie. The remake is damn near unwatchable.
I'm sure it would be. Yeah.
It was rough, as I recall. I actually think Andor dude's in that, maybe.
I really wish I did something where I was like that was what I was associated with, like something
Diego
cool.
Luna. Is that what
I
you're looking
think he's
for?
in it.
Let's look.
We could check that.
Yeah, if
I'll
he's
let
in it
Chad
along
check
with
it.
Elliot Page.
Yep.
Elliot Page, yeah. I don't know that movie. Problem is I think that was very much of its time. I don't know that translates well. It does have a good performance by one of Chad's favorite actors.
Oliver Platt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Again,
Oliver
the
Platt is
man
good.
enhances any movie he's in.
It is. He does. I won't.
Yeah,
I won't
he
waste
is a
it.
good actor.
So what
He's
else?
he's like a longer lived Philip Seymour Hoffman. Um, what? It's true.
I'm not arguing. I just never heard it said that way.
Making 32, almost $33 million during its run. A movie nobody talks about now, though. Air America.
Oh, with Robert Downey and Mel Gibson?
Yep.
Yeah, no one talks about that.
No.
And how much did that make?
33 million, 32.914 million. There you
It's
go.
based
Almost
on a
33.
true story.
But yeah, but so was Operation Dumbo Drop. And nobody talks about that anymore either.
I do.
Okay, nobody that counts talks about that. The only time I hear it come up in conversation, it's the people that were in it talking about what they bought with the money from it. The only time I hear about Operation Dumbo Drop.
One of Dennis Leary's best performances.
I don't think I've actually ever seen
In a
it.
PG rated film, I'll give you. I would argue one of his best performances is Suicide King.
Been a while. All right, what's next?
But
Gunman.
the one that did not make much money but killed a franchise, quote unquote. The Two Jakes. The Two
Oh
Jakes.
Yeah.
man, that movie is unwatchable.
$10 million.
You think it's unwatchable? I don't
I do.
remember it being unwatchable.
I tried watching it a couple of years ago and I could not get through it.
Had you seen it when you were a kid?
No. Mm-mm.
So I think I seen it when it came out. That's the reason why I don't remember it being as unwatchable, but I bet it is now. Did he direct it?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson directed it. Yeah.
Okay. The
So
sequel to Chinatown, which is never a good idea. All right, what's next?
the August 17th, we get four movies that are released. All of them do okay. None of them like break 100 million, but they're all in the 20 million, $15 million range. The one that wins overall that came out that weekend, making over 25 million during its theatrical run, is The Exorcist 3.
Oh, how much did it make?
$25 million.
That's all it made?
A
Yeah,
U.S.
it wasn't a
domestic box
success.
office.
I know. I saw that in the theater with my mom, and it's one of those. I
Yeah,
like that movie a lot.
I
I
do
even like
too.
the director's cut.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not, but it was not a successful movie when it first came out of the theater. It got popular afterwards when, you know,
Side
people.
note, Chad, did I send you the thing where they announced that they got a more complete cut of Dirty Work?
No, I saw it. Yeah, 8 minutes more.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
even so they're going to release it and make
It
it all.
changes the whole what,
Do
gentlemen?
do not, dude. If they found any of the clips where they just let Rickles run, because that was one of the things Norm Macdonald said was that they cut a lot of Rickles just running his mouth, making fun of everybody on set because he would just keep going, and then people would break up and they couldn't use it.
Yeah.
I That's the footage I want to see. Rickles just going off on Norm Macdonald for 15 minutes. Yeah, pay for it. Take my money.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. All right.
Um, so sorry. I just as
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
director's cut came up, I was like, oh, Dirtier Work. I have to mention. So the second movie, as far as what it would make during a theatrical run that came out that weekend, making $23.6 million, My Blue Heaven.
My,
Still
I saw that in the theater too. I saw that with my mom.
a movie that is actually this told from the same story as Goodfellas.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean it's inspired by his story. Yeah, the
I
guy
don't
who.
know that I knew that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh.
I I love Blue Heaven. My Blue Heaven. Steve Martin playing a gangster is just perfect, and Rick Moranis playing the bumbling guy who's sit there to make sure he doesn't get exposed, and Steve Martin is doing everything he can to make himself exposed. I love My Blue Heaven.
Hmm.
It's one of those underappreciated films by both actors, in my opinion.
Truthfully, I just haven't seen it in a long time.
It's just one of those. It's one of those again. It's Steve Martin not playing his normal character, which I always genuinely like. Like him, I loved him in Novocaine. Um, and My Blue Heaven. It's
It's
just
no
a
leap of faith.
no. I love Leap of Faith. I do.
Leap of Faith. People slept on Leap of Faith too hard.
Yeah. But yeah, no, My Blue Heaven. I just love him playing a gangster.
I remember scenes in it. That's also with
Joan Cusack.
Joan Cusack. All right.
Oddly enough,
Yeah.
right after My Blue Heaven, also coming out this weekend was another comedy that would make almost as much, $20 million. And I would argue, gentlemen, I would argue that this film is the best movie directed by Arthur Hiller, starring Jim Belushi and Charles Grodin.
I know what you're talking about. What
Uh,
do we do?
uh,
TCB.
Taking
TCB,
care
take
of
care of
business.
I remember it. How much money did that movie make?
$20 million. A
Did
little
it
bit over
really?
$20 million.
I wouldn't have
It
guessed
made
made that
almost the
much.
exact same amount as Exorcist 3. That is insane.
And My Blue Heaven, yes, it was. And nobody talks
And my
about taking care of business now.
No, nobody
Arthur
knows
Hiller
it. No,
nobody
nobody
cares
knows that
about Arthur
movie
Hiller's My
exists.
Blue taking care of business.
I doubt that anybody knows that movie exists for the most part, unless you're all right. I'm not shitting on it. I'm just serious. Does
No,
people
I
have
would
no
shit on
idea
it. I
that movie
remember it
exists?
sucking, but I probably need to go
Well,
back
I
and watch
kind
it.
of enjoyed it as a kid, but it's
Oh, I
not.
didn't know J.J. Abrams wrote it.
Yeah, he's one of the
There you go.
co-authors, right? It's Jill
Jill
Mazursky
Mazursky.
and J.J. Abrams.
There you go. Well, if
There you
we
go.
ever meet him, we got to walk up and go, you worked on a classic film that we'd like to talk about, one that's been followed by legions of fans that has, we just need to blow it, build it up, build it up. It's like, here's where you're going to tell us about TCB.
And the final film, the one that didn't make the least that came out this weekend, the black comedy Wild at Heart.
I've still not seen it.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and as a kid, Willem Dafoe freaked me out so much. I need to go back and watch it.
That's definitely one of the miss. I think it's the only missing. Well, no, Straight Story. It's the only missing movie in David Lynch's that I have not seen.
You've never seen a Straight Story, though?
I've never seen Straight Story.
Oh,
Now that I'm saying this, I realize, I've also never seen Inland Empire.
Inland Empire is good too.
So I need to watch
It's
both,
just
all
3 hours
of those.
long.
Yeah, I need to watch all three of those. Now that I've officially given David Lynch credit for making good movies.
Yeah, it only took how long?
42 years.
Now, gentlemen, for the next weekend, I don't mean to move us along, but for the next weekend, do you know? I don't know why this would be. Did they used to do a huge push of movies for back to school? Because the week where the Friday was August 24th, there was one Wednesday release.
Yeah.
But that week, let me count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 films were released theatrically for that week.
Okay.
that seems like a lot of movies to come out in the week that most people are going back to school. But not released that weekend, by the way, was back to school. But anyway, here the Wednesday release. I didn't know this got a Wednesday release. I didn't know they thought it would do that well. Pump Up the Volume.
I haven't seen that movie in years either. That's another one I should go back and watch sometime.
Made $12 million during its theatrical run.
If there
The
was ever a phrase that pretty much described the 90s, pump up the volume,
I prefer Pump Up the Jam, sir.
pump up the jam.
Yeah. Pump up the jam, pump it up a little more, get your body moving on the dance floor.
But so that came out on Wednesday, and then the Friday release is actually the one that made the most theatrically. Is a film that we all know and appreciate, I think. Darkman.
Yeah, that was that number one.
$33 million during its entire theatrical run. But yes, of the movies that came out that week, Darkman went on to be number one.
It was a modest hit. It wasn't a huge hit. It was a modest hit because it didn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, that movie. Whew. And it's all because Sam Raimi didn't get to make that. Was it The Shadow or Phantom? I think it's The Shadow.
Shadow.
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
heard Shadow. God, I love The Shadow. What a great character. I wish somebody would do something with The Shadow now.
Me too.
I actually like the Alec Baldwin version, but I'd like a real one too. I mean, not, you know what I mean.
I finally heard him talk about that on an interview.
I want to get the Ultimate Shout version of it. I don't do Ultimate versions from Shout much, but they did one, and that's what I want because it's supposed to have.
He says the problem is that the producer was really strong and Russell McKay. They both just had two totally different visions of what that movie was going to be.
Mhm.
I still enjoy it. I mean, Ian
And
McKellen and Alec Baldwin, and yeah.
So it just never gelled because they were both.
I
I
read
haven't seen it in a long time.
before it ever came out, Wizard the Guide to Comics used to have a movie section. Wizard the Guide to Comics doesn't exist anymore anyway. They do conventions now, but they don't have a magazine like they did. But that was my Bible growing up. You had Fangoria, I had Wizard.
Yeah. A lot of people
and Wizard had a movie section in it, and they got a hold of a leaked script, and I'm so glad the script that leaked wasn't what actually came, because originally the villain died like Joker. He fell off the side of a building, and that was how it was going to end. And that is not how it ends.
In Darkman?
No, in Shadow. Sorry.
Oh shit, we're supposed to be talking about Darkman.
I know. Talk about Darkman. Fine, that was the number one movie that was released the weekend of August 24th.
I mean, I really did. I love this film. I mean, there's not much. I mean, I just could not believe that they made Sam Raimi, who again was one of my favorites as a kid and and as an adult still. And then here he is. He makes this superhero movie about a man who's just permanently burned. It's so hideous. And he has all these different powers now because of what made him a monster. I just love the concept. It was just such a unique.
Well, and it is unique, but it also gives a little bit of that. Like it does. I don't know if they're subtle nods or not, but it does references to things to me in my mind, like the way his get up reminds me of the Invisible Man.
Mhm.
It's all that stuff that I
The
love.
Phantom of the Opera. I mean, it's all there.
And so I love that stuff. And so to have that brought modern day when I was a kid.
Well, there was nothing like it. You had there wasn't a ton of superhero films. We just got Batman. The only reason that movie got greenlit was because Batman. Let's be completely honest. And I think everybody with Darkman would admit that. I'm sure it was in pre-production, but the only reason it got made was because of the success of Batman. What we have in theaters next year, right?
Yeah.
We had that.
It's a superhero who's mentally unstable. I mean, it's just amazing.
You just hadn't seen it in the theater. At that time. Now we've got The Boys. I mean, there's just so many.
You got everything.
Things. We have everything, but at the time it just wasn't. And Sam Raimi wasn't Sam Raimi yet. There wasn't Spider-Man. So that was his first big film where people was like, oh, that looked different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, next.
So that made 32 million. Men at Work, the comedy.
Oh my God.
Club.
Made 16 million during its run, but it also came out that weekend.
Not a good movie.
Other than Darkman. There it is.
You went to Dartmouth.
The other action film that came out this weekend that did not make $32 million, only making $6.3 million, Delta Force 2.
Really?
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah,
Um,
this starts the Chuck Norris bombathon.
and then we got two dramas that only made 2.7 million each. Yume, Yume,
Never
and
heard.
After Dark, My Sweet.
Well,
After
that
Dark, my sweet.
everybody
That
knows that
that
one.
sounds like a softcore porn.
It is allegedly a drama.
Oh, it stars Jason Patrick and and Bruce Dern. After he escapes from a mental hospital, a former boxer works for a widow. When she asks him to get involved in a kidnapping, he has second thoughts. There you go. Not a porn.
Huh.
Or
That's
is it?
unfortunate.
I
Well, then why
mean,
do I want to watch it?
It depends on Chad. It says he has second thoughts. Does it say whether or not they're sexy thoughts?
I don't know, but it does compel me.
And that's it till August 31st. August 31st gives us three films.
Yeah.
The biggest box office winner that comes out that week, though, makes $3.4 million, and that is The Lemon Sisters. The Lemon Sisters. Anybody? I have no idea. That's one
I remember the title slightly.
no, but it has Carol Kane in a starring role, so I would automatically watch it.
well, maybe we need to because that was the biggest hit that weekend. But you know what wasn't a big hit that weekend and only made $500,000 during its entire theatrical
No, what
run, but
is
I'm
it?
sure Chad has seen it. American Ninja 4, The Annihilation.
I've actually not seen that one.
Dad,
What?
what have you been doing with your life?
It's one of those ones that never got to my brother's collection of crappy action films. I've seen the first three.
The movie that did even worse than that came out that weekend is the horror movie Mirror Mirror on the, no Mirror Mirror.
I don't even know that one.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's all right because the next weekend there's only one release, which would be September. The first weekend in September, September 7th.
Yeah.
One movie is released. It is a horror movie, and it makes so little they don't even track it. That movie is called The Wrong Door. The summary of The Wrong Door is Ted falls in love and is involved in murder after accidentally knocking on the wrong door. That's the plot. It was directed by three different people, which tells me it was a problematic production.
And it looks low budget as hell. So yeah,
So
and star
there you go.
and stars no one.
No. So we get another Wednesday release. This one has a little bit of clout behind it, in that I know the background behind it. The Wednesday release that comes out September 12th is Postcards from the Edge.
I like that movie.
That's written
That's
by Carrie
based
Fisher, right?
it's based on Carrie Fisher's book,
Yeah.
and she wrote the screenplay.
Yep.
And it's pretty much like what happened. They just
Yeah.
changed character names around.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this is the one with the trailer where it has Meryl Streep hanging off the side of a building, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, oh, and I didn't realize it was directed by Mike Nichols.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's slightly fictionalized Carrie Fisher.
Yep, $38 million. It was a big hit that came out this weekend. The second biggest movie that came out that weekend, and it came out on the Friday, September 14th, Death Warrant.
Oh man.
I For a long time, it was my favorite Jean-Claude film.
Why?
I just love the fact that he was in prison and fighting all these, I think the villain's name was Sandman.
He's going to take me
I
away.
I could be wrong, but I just love Death Warrant. I don't have a reason for it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I watched it recently and it does not hold up.
I
It's not
didn't
one of
think,
Jean-Claude Van Damme's best.
but it also has what's his face in it has Benson in it. It's one of the bad guys or
Yeah,
good
Robert
guys.
Gilliam.
Yeah. I don't know why
Um,
I remember that.
yeah,
Uh,
Patrick Kilpatrick played Christian Sandman Naylor. I knew it was the Sandman, but that was his big foe.
the um, the other movie that came out that weekend had a poster that promised it
It
would
might have
be.
also been because I had a crush on Cynthia Gibb too, by the way. Just saying.
I'd have to Google that. Cynthia Gibb. Keep talking, James.
Team James.
Was she part of the Bee Gees?
Yeah, she's Barry's little sister. Shit the bed. Didn't you know that?
I mean, Gib. How many Gibs could there be? The Lord giveth, and He taketh away.
Give it.
The next movie that went on to make $5.7 million had a
I
poster
swear I
that
don't
promised
remember.
us that it would welcome us to the 21st century, and that is Hardware.
Oh my God. So funny story about Hardware.
I love any time I say a movie title and Chad goes, "Oh my God."
No, my
No,
God.
there's this funny story about Hardware. In my parents pretty much never censored me. I
We
could
can
watch what
tell, and
I could
that's why
watch
you
whatever I
can't be on the
wanted,
FCC.
Yes.
but somehow they watched Hardware before me and they said I was not allowed to watch it.
You shouldn't have been. It has a masturbating guy in it.
But right after that, they go, here, you can watch this, and it was Predator 2.
Yeah, but Predator 2 only has some titties and murder. James, Chad, if James's dad taught me anything, you need to know if a creature from space comes down and cuts your damn head off, you're going to
Yeah,
have problems and you need to prepare for how you're going to handle that
I
when your
just I
damn
watched
head's laying over there looking like it's screaming.
I
It's
but
watched
now, but
Hardware
sex,
years.
sex
I
and bad
watched
language, Chad, you shouldn't see. But now murders
murders
happen.
happen.
Murders
Bad
just happen.
language
My
doesn't
my
happen.
father's philosophy of editing films, Joe is absolutely right. Because my sister was young and wanted to see Sleepy Hollow, and my father doesn't have any sex or like gratuitous sex or language in it.
Gratuitous. Like,
Gratuitous.
yeah,
Because
does
it does have the
does he
scene
does she
where,
does
she's
one of them lick
seducing.
the other one from behind? What is your gratuitous definition? Oh my God, I wish I could have, because your father and I did not get to have that bourbon that we talked about.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wish you'd have told me that, and if Mrs. Thomas had been nowhere around, I would have leaned over and goes, "What's your definition of gratuitous?"
But no,
I bet
I just
mine
can
and your
remember, I was like,
definition
Dad,
is
it's
worse than your son's.
the headless horseman chops people's head off. And my dad's exact words, Joe's right, was she needs to know if somebody takes an axe to her head, it's going to come off. And she needs to avoid that situation. That's true. That's
It's
a true
true
story.
though. She does need to avoid that at
Yeah,
all
it's true.
costs.
That's good advice. But yeah, Hardware. There you go. So you aren't allowed to watch Hardware?
no,
I
was
don't know if
not.
I've ever
I
seen
didn't
all
get
of
to see it
Hardware
till
to this
years later,
day.
and I'm like,
I don't
why
know if
did
I've
they
ever seen
censor
all of it.
this?
I didn't see it till it's not a terrible movie. If you look at it from how little money there was, uh, he got a lot out of it. I like it better than Dust Devil, his follow-up. But it's not a good movie, Chad. I'm not arguing with Chad. I'm just saying,
No,
Richard.
I didn't say it was a good movie. I just remember
No, I know.
watching it
I'm
years
not
later.
arguing with you. It's not a good movie. It's just if you've ever seen Dust Devil, his follow-up, it's better than that.
Uh, so that made $5.7 million. State of Grace, the drama, came out, made about $2 million
With
during its
Sean
entire
Penn.
run.
Yeah.
And one I've never heard of. It's a thriller suspense movie that only made about $8,000 theatrically, which probably means it was limited release. Paper Mask. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing. All right,
Roll
moving
on.
on.
Are we in September yet?
It's September because we are now to, I would argue, one of the big movies that people still quote often. And it would overshadow another movie that would come out later in September that I also have seen, but I'll get to that in a minute. September 19th, gentlemen, there's two movies that come out. One doesn't do well at the box office, and it's called Deceptions. But the movie it's up against does okay and is quoted still today. Goodfellas makes
Oh,
$47 million during its
never
theatrical
heard of
run.
it.
How Deceptions didn't get beat Goodfellas is beyond me. It had Nicolette Sheridan, for God's sake, and Harry Hamlin.
Harry Hamlin and Nicholas Sheridan. You
And
mean
then
Bad
Rob
Man's fourth season, Harry Hamlin?
and Robert Davey.
You're talking Maniac Cop 2's Robert Davey?
Davey, exactly.
I would love to do. We need to do a boathead skit of where we just do obscure, where we go like you name an actor, we just like you mean, and you don't say Mark Hamill, Star Wars. You go, you mean the Guyver's Mark Hamill?
I would have went Slipstream, sir, and I still say
Slipstream is
people
another
slept
good one. You mean
slept
the
on Slipstream. It's a better movie than people give it credit for. It ain't brilliant, but it's a better movie than people give it credit for.
you
Watch
mean
Slipstream if you haven't seen it.
Slipstream? All right, next.
Uh,
Goodfellas, good picture.
Yeah,
Keep rolling. I mean, what
yeah.
are we
There's
going
not
to
a
say
lot we
about
can say.
Goodfellas?
Goodfellas is a classic.
I
September 20th, gentlemen, which is a weird day to release. Also an early release. So technically, actually, I guess this is all one weekend. September 19th was a Wednesday. Goodfellas came out on Wednesday. September 20th, though, which was a Thursday, they released two movies on that day too, before the weekend. If you've seen either of these, I'll be shocked. An Angel at My Table. Anybody? Anybody?
No.
no,
Janet Frame was a brilliant child who, as a teen, was misdiagnosed with
I
schizophrenia.
love it when
It
he's like, anybody? No, I'm going to tell you anyway.
explored Janet's discovery of the world and her life in Europe as her books are published to acclaim.
Oh, it's directed by Jan Campion.
Yeah. Good rating, 7.4 out of 10.
If she's not giving me the piano, I don't care.
So there's that one. The other one, it was even less successful. Flying Fox in a Freedom Tree.
What?
Doesn't that sound like something somebody that doesn't want to curse would yell at you?
Well,
Flying
is-
Fox in a Freedom Tree.
now I just want to watch it.
Does anybody know what it is? I didn't look
No.
that one up.
Flying fox in a freedom tree?
Flying Fox in a Freedom Tree.
Pepe is a young Samoan. He has two mentors who represent two opposite paths. One is Tosa, the senior chief of Pepe's village, an elder powerful and wise in the ancient way of his people. He is Pepe's conscience. The other is Tagada, the city-bred dwarf. Street
So it's a
smart
movie about them Girl Scout cookies?
but condemned by his stature to be an oddity, a flying fox with an eagle. I don't know what this movie is telling me.
I don't either. It's telling
I
you
don't
to
know, but
kill.
I
It's
I
telling
think
you
we
light
need to find a
fires.
copy.
Yeah.
So that's Thursday releases. Friday, three more movies join that crowded box office. The three of them, these are more successful than Thursday releases. Narrow Margin
With the late great Gene Hackman. It takes place
makes
on a train. That's an actually I think that movie's a remake too. I didn't know it till a few years ago.
made about $11 million.
Yeah.
The other one, rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy. Funny About Love.
That killed his directing career, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did that kill his directing career?
It wasn't a huge success. It made 8 million. I mean, you make Three Men and a Baby, and then you make something that only makes $8 million during its entire theatrical run.
I know, but I've often wondered why. There's other people who have made movies that did not do well. Why did that one kill it?
Fucking Zack Snyder.
I mean, there's just a ton of people, Chad, who've had hits, had one did not do well, and still got to make other movies. You know what I mean?
Man,
Fucking-
how many movies? I don't know the answer to this off the top of my head. Y'all were talking about Ed Wood gets blamed for being the worst director. I would argue Coleman Francis is in the running for that. It's as far as somebody that made multiple films. I mean, you can pick Manos: The Hands of Fate and say that may be the worst movie, and you'd be right. But that guy made a film, right?
Yeah.
Coleman Francis made film after film after film, and they're all way worse than Ed Wood. Ed Wood is at least entertaining. His films are at least entertaining. You may not love them, but they're entertaining.
Yeah.
You'll find something to watch. Coleman Francis, man, Red Zone Cuba. I wanted to be on that night train to Mundo Fine. So funny about and the tall guy. I don't know the tall guy, but it was a romantic comedy. Anybody?
Isn't that's
Oh.
with
Oh,
shit. Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, well, there you go.
go.
I don't know that one.
It's directed by Mel Smith and written by Richard Curtis. Yeah, I've seen it. I don't remember anything about it, but
So it's a
Um,
British. It's a Mel Smith is a British director and actor, as I recall.
yeah, it's about an American actor based in London, and he's playing a sidekick to a successful British comic. And it's about him falling in love.
You mean Richard Curtis wrote a movie about somebody falling in love?
I know, right?
I've never heard of such a thing.
Because love, actually.
I mean, it's got a great cast. I mean, obviously Rowan Atkinson because it's Richard Curtis, Emma Thompson. I mean, Ann Macy. I mean, it's got a pretty good cast. I just can't remember anything about it.
If it doesn't have the late great, oh my God, Ruth Bussey, who died last
Oh
week?
yeah, man. She actually interacted with me a few times on the social media. I mean, not like anything major. I'd post a smart comment and she would like it. So I was actually, she was the one that I was like, maybe one day we can get her on Bonehead, but that didn't happen.
Well, we still always got our Ouija boards. Next week,
This one's kind of loaded too. Miller's Crossing.
good movie.
Oh man, I've been wanting to watch that for months, for almost a year now, and I just they don't play it anywhere. I
Really?
need to
I have
buy
the
a copy.
DVD.
Yeah, I need to do what I need to find. I've been wanting to
I'll
watch.
trade you a Transformers for it.
You have my Transformers.
I know that was the joke. I also have $20 of yours.
Oh, I got it now. Um, yeah, I just yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So, so yeah, Miller's Crossing. The movie that actually I was joking, was not really joking, that I always think of doesn't get a lot of attention, but I can tell if Goodfellas was in the market, it wouldn't. King of New York, Christopher Walken and Larry Fishburne before
Yeah,
he was Lawrence.
yeah. There's scenes in that. It's directed by Abel Ferrara. Overall, I don't think it's a great movie. There's really good scenes in it. Um,
There's really good scenes. There's effective scenes that stick
there's
with
very
you. I agree.
effective scenes. Overall, it doesn't quite mesh, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's an
Now
interesting
that
picture.
entire scene where he's standing in front of the window though, and yeah, there's just parts of it that I love. Um, that didn't do well. Matter of fact, actually, do you know what movie made more than King of New York?
No.
A movie I saw under a different title, but it was released theatrically as Dark Angel. I saw
No,
it as after released on home video as I I come in
because that's all
peace,
he says. I come in peace.
And you go in
you
peace.
leave. Peace.
Okay, so
Which made $4.4 million.
can I talk about it real quick?
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
because
Directed by
I actually
Craig.
really enjoyed it. I just saw it a few years ago.
It's directed by Craig R. Baxley. I liked it as a kid. It has Brian Benben in it as the sidekick for some odd reason. The movie, I hadn't seen it in a long time, and for our viewers or listeners, I think a lot of people already know. I had gastric sleeve a couple of years ago, so I was laid up in this basement and had some complications. So I just buried myself into so much trying to fight off. Doesn't matter. And that's one of those ones I watched at 1 a.m. when the painkillers were off and I was trying to find something else to think about. And I enjoyed it all over again. It's stupid, but I don't even think Dolph Lundgren's bad in it.
He's not.
No,
The villain,
Brian Benben's
Jimmy, a little
awful
bit.
in it.
The villain, well, he's a little too Brian Benben, but the villain's could be a little stronger, but I don't even think he's bad.
He just come.
It's a
He just says,
serviceable B movie.
"I
no,
come
it's and
in
that's it's
peace."
what I wanted it to be, right? I didn't rent a movie called I Come in Peace expecting it to change my worldview.
Yeah, I don't. The Dark Angel thing, and it's a bitch too when you go to look for it on Tubi. I think it is listed under Dark Angel, but
It
you're
is.
right, James. When I saw it, it was I Come in Peace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I remember the video case for it. It was I Come in Peace.
and
It's not a close encounter.
and
It's the
Craig,
last, which is still that it could still be a close encounter and be the last. So your catchphrase is stupid.
Craig R. Baxley. I'm sorry. The reason I brought him up is because he directed several B movie action films. Action Jackson. I think.
Oh God,
Maybe,
I love Action Jackson.
I've never seen it. He went on to actually direct Storm of the Century.
Oh yeah,
A couple
yeah.
of Stephen King, the adaptations. He directed Rose Red, Storm of the Century. So
Colm Fiore, right?
yeah, yeah,
He was
Second
stunts.
best
He did
Colm
stunts
ever.
for Predator.
yeah. And he did those. So if you listen to the director commentary for Predator, thank you, Chad. You opened this up for too much trivia. When the director is talking about it, he hates that action sequence that takes place when they attack the village before they run into the Predator. And he's like, oh, this second unit, it's Craig R. Baxley's work. That's all done by second unit Craig R. Baxley. Thank you
Jo-
so much.
By the way,
Moving right along.
you forgot two important aspects of Craig R. Baxley's career:
Born and Sin, come on in.
Storm of the Century and Rose Red. He directed
I
both.
just said
Uh,
Storm of the Century
he
and
did say
Rose
Storm.
Red.
Rose Red though. I love Rose
I
Red.
don't
No,
know where you were.
he didn't say it. I was too busy looking at Craig R. Baxley's
We
career.
talked about it.
Did you say the Twilight Man?
Next weekend,
No,
please.
we're not to the next weekend because we haven't talked about the movie that actually won this weekend. Do you know what won this weekend that nobody talks about?
What?
Making $30 million. Pacific Heights.
Is that
Oh,
Alec Baldwin?
that's with Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay.
It
I've
won
never
this
seen it.
weekend.
I've only
I
seen
haven't either.
parts of it.
But you're right, Joe. Let's get into October 5th. So much goodness was on October 5th. So much goodness. Um, Making not enough to chart.
Yeah.
Basket Case 2.
I actually saw that before I ever saw Basket Case. Actually, I don't even know if I've ever seen all of Basket Case.
Oh God, it's bad.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it's bad.
I watched Frankenhooker a few years ago and really enjoyed it.
No, I love Frankenhooker. I don't like Basket Case. I thought it was awful.
Hmm. All right.
Basket Case 2. And then listen up, Quincy Jones. I'm assuming
Oh,
that's
was
a
that the movie?
yeah,
It's a documentary. I remember it.
documentary. Made almost $1 million theatrically. Um, and then we get Desperate Hours, made $2.7 million.
That's a good movie, which is also a remake. That's with Mickey Rourke and Tony and Anthony Hannibal Lecter.
Anthony
Anthony
Hopkins.
Hopkins,
Why,
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
I am
Tony.
so sorry, you two. Chad couldn't remember anybody 3 weeks ago. Oh, by the way, Chad, you get your voice back?
No,
No.
I couldn't tell.
Hmm.
Do.
I
That's
didn't
not a
realize it was
bad
directed by
movie.
Michael Camino.
Did you say El Camino?
Is that his
Now I
name?
have to sing like Clint Eastwood.
Chimino directed that?
Yeah.
I don't know that I knew that, Chad. Huh. He was in that's a guy that landed in director prison and stayed there most of his life because of a little movie called Heaven's Gate. Google it, audience.
Yep. Actually, you know what? I want to find a copy of it and watch it. I need to watch it because
It's long.
I
It's
love Deer Hunter.
Phew. God, that movie's depressing.
It is, but
It
it's
is.
what you.
Oh, it's
It,
well made, dude. I ain't arguing with you. I'm just telling you, it makes me feel the creepy crawlies,
yeah. Well,
especially the Vietnam scenes. It's
yeah,
tough.
if you watch,
Man.
and listen, if you watch, if you were doing reviews of movies and you got to Deer Hunter and you said it's a feel good picture of the year, I would stop talking to you. If you
No, you
said that
wouldn't.
honestly,
No, you
I,
wouldn't.
yeah, but I'd look at you
I'm
differently. I
saying
might
the
not stop
reverse.
talking to you, but I'd be like, I don't know if that guy needs to be alone with my children.
It's some of the shit you've said behind closed doors. This is totally off topic. I was talking with somebody the other day. You don't even know who they are, and I didn't even say who you were. I was like, "Yeah, I got a friend." Every once in a while, he'll say something. I'm like, nobody would ever believe if I said, "Nope, James said that," and I didn't say your name. I was like, "Yep, this buddy said that." And it'd be like, "Oh, Joe said that, didn't that? Oh, he's over there handing out Gideon Bibles."
I'm just saying. I'm not saying I know where Hoppa is, but he won't talk to nobody now, will he? Anyway,
Next,
um, so Desperate Hours actually wasn't a huge hit because it
no,
got overshadowed by Avalon. Anybody? Avalon?
uh, it was a big. That's a Barry Levinson film. I don't care for. It's a multi-generational movie. Kevin Pollak's in that. I didn't care for it as a kid, but I haven't seen it. And that's a movie that nobody remembers.
You know what was the number one movie that, as far as it made during its entire theatrical run that came out this weekend, though, that overshadowed Avalon, making $23.5 million? Henry and June.
Really?
Henry and June. Anybody? Anybody? Henry and
Is
June?
that the one with Robert De Niro where she teaches him to read?
I don't know, dude.
No, Frank. It's Frank, Fred Ward, and Uma Thurman.
I don't know.
Yeah, and
That's one
Richard
I didn't
Grant,
know.
Kevin Spacey. Somebody's name I can't pronounce meets American writer Henry Miller in Paris in
Oh, Henry and
1931. She
June.
keeps a diary of her sexual awakening, which includes Henry and his wife June.
I
Directed
need to
by
watch.
Philip Kaufman.
I need to watch that. Hey, he gave us the right stuff, and it sounds like some of those people in that picture do have the right stuff, Chad.
Not
And
to
he
be
also gave us, Chad, the excellent Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And if you want me to start talking about Snatchers, I'd be happy to do so.
Oh,
So
the
October
other
12th
star
comes
is
around.
the other star is that Bruce Willis's girlfriend in Pulp Fiction, the annoying one.
Oh, she's not annoying.
Oh my God, I can't stand her in that
Dead,
movie.
She's so not annoying. Sheer
dead,
accent.
dead, dead.
Anyway,
Um,
James.
C Snatch.
October 12th, we actually had 7 movies released theatrically. One of them made no money and is often referred to as the worst movie ever made. I disagree with that. But Troll 2
Oh, so I used to have a friend, I have no ill will, and he's still a dear friend of James's. Called me up one night screaming, "Oh my God, Joe, they're killing him with bologna sandwiches. Joe, they're killing him with bologna sandwiches." James,
Ah,
there's also the same night I think that he called me up with oh my God, Amityville 2 going,
Lamp.
Holly ain't gonna take that shit. Google
He's
it,
also
folks, if
yeah.
you don't know what I'm talking about, the cast of Amityville 2.
Yep.
I have such memories of Troll 2 because I was a big fan of Troll, and I remember seeing Troll 2, the VHS at the rental store, and the cover is kind of similar to Troll.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I gotta watch this. And then we rented it, and then I had to go all around town with my dad doing chores, visiting people. And I just had this VHS copy going, I can't wait to watch you tonight. And then I got home and go, what the hell is this shit?
It's bad. It's not good.
Oh,
Did
man.
not was not a box office success at
And
all. Didn't make enough to
it's one
chart.
of my favorite documentaries too, that the making
It
of
is a
that.
good the
Yeah.
documentary is way better than the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. So Troll 2 doesn't do well, and then three other movies barely make 1.2 million roughly. I'll say them in order. One of them, though, I can't help but imagine it spawned an entire series of Lifetime movies, and that is the drama To Sleep with Anger.
You mean Sleep with the Enemy?
No, To Sleep with Anger. Look it up. 1990 made 1.2 million dollars at the box office.
They keep going. I don't care.
Um,
I'm
Also
gonna
coming out that weekend was The Hot Spot.
Ooh, Jennifer Connelly topless. I know I should say something different, but directed by Dennis Hopper. He got really pissed at the star. Look up who the star is, but apparently Don Johnson wouldn't do the press tour.
Only made 1.2 million dollars theatrically.
Yeah, yeah, and he blamed it all on Don Johnson.
And then also making more than that, making almost 1.3 million dollars was Blood Fist 2.
Blood Fist 2 made more than The Hot Spot.
Yes. Evidently your Jennifer Connelly couldn't carry as much as whatever's in Blood Fist
You
2.
could carry me.
Not without throwing her back out.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
probably. She'd have to be a pretty big woman. Sorry. To quote the Arthur, she'd have to be a pretty big woman.
so those all made 1.2 million dollars. Uh, Making almost $4 million with Welcome Home Roxy Carmichael.
That's not a good movie.
Mm-mm.
It's no
That's the
hot
one with
spot.
Jeff Daniels, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. Boy,
So the two movies that were somewhat hits that came out this weekend, Mr. Destiny with $15 million.
man, James Belushi was just killing it that year.
He
Uh,
was. He was.
That's
Ah,
Michael Caine is in that too, right?
yes, I think so. Yeah.
Michael Caine.
Not to be confused with My Cocaine,
That's what
one
I
of those
said.
you can't
Michael
touch.
Caine.
Um, but the big hit this weekend, making $27.8 million during the theatrical run that nobody talks about these days, Memphis Belle.
A movie I also found boring when I was a kid. Oh my, I've seen every single thing you've
mhm.
talked about. I just don't, none of these are speaking to me. Why doesn't this art speak to me, Dr. Thomas?
It's because Memphis Belle. I remember seeing the poster for it. I remember seeing ads for it, and even I'm a history geek, and none of it makes me go, you know what I need to watch.
Well, they told the basically, I'm trying to think of a good way to put the Frank Capra version of a true story.
Yeah.
It's not it's not the Normandy in Saving Private Ryan storming the beach. It's a very stylized
Mhm.
of, and I think it's based on a true story about the Memphis Belle and how it survived all those bombers didn't survive all those missions,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Right.
Chad's a historian
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of the three of us. Well, actual history.
I'm a
Chad knows a lot
no.
about that
I do
educational.
education. I can just talk about tell you who got educated on that plane.
All right, who's next? Where are we at?
Uh,
Are we in November yet?
No, dude, we just finished up the middle of October because you know what we get October 19th?
We got to make it quick. What?
Fire, Ice, and Dynamite.
I have no idea what that is,
Made
other than
no
I
money
like shooting.
theatrically. Moving on. The movies that did make some money, the horror movie Night Angel,
Never heard of it.
the remake Night of the Living Dead,
That's a better movie than it gets credit for.
Mhm.
made $6 million. The drama White Palace made 18 million.
Hmm. That's what
But you
James.
know what outdid them all that came out this weekend, gentlemen?
What?
The actor known best for playing Lassiter made a little film about how he could be a cowboy in Australia. And he said he didn't prefer to shoot that gun. He didn't say he couldn't. I'm talking about Quigley Down Under.
How big of a hit
Ugh.
was that? I don't remember it being a big hit.
21.5 million compared to everything coming out around it. Pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. It's directed by Simon Windsor, I think. Uh,
That's it for October 19th.
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Fire, Ice, and Dynamite, Night Angel,
Why?
Night of the
What do
Living
you
Dead.
need other than Night of the Living Dead and Quickly Down Under?
Well, the movie that didn't make it on his list was The Ambulance, came out October 19th, 1990.
Oh, it's
Oh
not
my
on my
God!
list.
Not Larry Cohen's the ambulance.
We got to talk about The Ambulance. I can't believe that's not on the
No, it's not
list.
on the list, Chad. Huh. Well, let's
Well,
talk about it, Chad.
I, you know what's the important part about The Ambulance?
James Earl Jones.
No, it's another actor who is featured pretty prominently, and his little charm didn't work on this film. It actually has a pretty lengthy part for Stan Lee.
Does it really?
Yeah, because if you're not familiar with it, it's about a comic book artist who meets a woman in the New York streets. He falls in love with her just right off the bat. She collapses and is picked up by an old ambulance, and it's about him trying to find her. And then there's this whole plot about them using diabetic people for a drug test, and it is off the wall insane. But yeah, Eric Roberts is the comic book artist, and he works at Marvel, and and he goes into Marvel Studios and has interactions with Stan Lee. I mean, it's a bizarre film,
Well, a
but I
lot of
really
Larry
enjoy
Cohen
it.
films were bizarre, though.
Yeah.
It's the same guy that gave us Q, the Winged Serpent,
Yep.
Return to Salem's Lot, The Stuff.
And James Earl Jones in this movie as a cop who doesn't give a shit is just hilarious.
By the way, Chad, since you brought up, I looked up the trivia for it, and a bunch of the trivia is about why Stan Lee's in it. Here's the quote. At the time the film was made, Stan Lee was desperately trying to get some of his Marvel characters made into movies and was not having any luck. It was very frustrating for him. He had this deal with the producer to do a movie of Doctor Strange, and Larry Cohen was hired to write the script. He wrote the script for the movie, which never got made, but he had became friends with Stan Lee. They started socializing and going out for dinner and going to each other's home. Sometimes they also went out to dinner with Bob Kane, the creator of Batman.
Hmm.
He had a great time with these guys. When Leonard made this film, he said to Stan, I think I'm going to make this character a cartoonist who works for Marvel. I asked him to play himself. He was really anxious to do it. It was the only time Stan has had some real scenes to play in a movie and has real dialogue. In the Marvel pictures, he's a walk on or an extra. With me, he was a real character.
Yeah, it's true. He was a real character who was concerned about Eric Roberts. I mean, it was a bizarre turn to see him in that role.
Hmm.
So
I
I'm
need to
glad
watch.
you
But yeah,
brought that
the
up, Chad, because it
ambulance,
ain't on the list.
you should check out the ambulance. Yeah, I was prepared. I've been waiting to talk about the ambulance since we started this episode. And
I wonder if it's on Tubi. I'll have
this
to look it
series,
up.
it's on Tubi, it's on Amazon Prime as well.
Okay, cool.
October 26th, gentlemen, there's three movies that come out. Only one of which you might know, though it was not the biggest hit that came out this weekend. The lowest rating one is, I assume, somebody that Joe used to date, The Nasty Girl.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a girl.
It only made $2.3 million, but I have
One
no
of
idea what
those,
The Nasty Girl is.
one of those is an adjective, and that would be accurate. But the gender that
Yeah, you're a modern person. I
I'm a
agree with that.
modern. I'm a modern man.
That's fine. I support
I'm
your choice.
cisgen something some.
You're skibbity riz, as the kids would say.
Yeah, I got a lot of skibbity riz. They used to call that just charisma, but keep going.
The one that you all probably might have something to say about, though we probably talked about before, Graveyard Shift makes $12 million this weekend
I can't
Uh,
believe it made $12 million.
over its theatrical run, not this weekend.
I
Over.
it
I get
is
that.
it is an entertaining yet weird film.
It's a terrible movie that I enjoy so many scenes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of them involve Brad Dourif
Brad Dourif, because the other people can't act for shit.
or the one guy who's the dad in that's also the bad guy is also the same guy that's the dad in Monster Squad, right?
Oh yeah, it is because he's the one that hires.
Yeah, doing that terrible Maine accent.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, it is.
Yeah, I enjoy it's so stupid.
It is. It's so stupid. And then the twist at the end makes no sense. I mean,
Oh my God.
did you know there was a Graveyard Shift 2?
No, there shouldn't have been.
Still Graveyard.
Oh no, that's a different franchise with the same name. Never mind.
All
All
right.
right. But the number one movie during its entire theatrical run that is released this weekend is Sibling Rivalry. Made $18 million. Anybody? I don't know it. I didn't look this one up. I thought you
Yeah,
all would know
that's the
something
one
about
with Kirstie Alley and Sam.
And directed by Carl Reiner.
Yeah, right. Is that the one with Kirstie Alley? So
Yeah.
basically, the story is that she has an affair with Sam Elliott. Sam, and he dies, and then she finds out later she's married to Archer, or as some people call him, Quantum Leap, or as I like to
Sam
call
Beck
him. What'd you say?
Sam Beckett, but
Sam
that's not his
Beckett.
real name.
It's nice.
it.
For
Oh,
that.
you
Scott
mean Mr. and
Bakula.
Mrs. Smith?
Yeah.
The original Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Look it
Yeah,
up, kid.
so you're right. She's married to him. He finds out, and it's a whole thing. She's trying to cover it up because she basically had sex with his brother and killed him and didn't know it was his brother. I actually saw that in a theater for some odd reason. It's okay. Next movie.
So that ends that. Word to November, gentlemen. And by the way, November does actually start to heat up a little bit and be like, oh, okay, that's an interesting series. Um, Two movies come out that don't make a lot of money. The international film Magic Cop and Bullseye, the comedy, get released. Um, the movies that do chart a little bit is the drama China Cry,
Hmm.
Graffiti Bridge,
Yeah, with Prince.
Waiting for the Light, and then the one that we actually know something about, Jacob's Ladder.
Okay, a movie a lot of people love that I'd never cared for, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's the visuals are what makes it work
Yeah,
somewhat.
when it first came out, I did not care for it. It took me getting older and watching it again to go, oh, this isn't a bad film.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
have to go back. It's Adrian Lynn, the same guy that gave us Flashdance.
well, I mean, it's really a remediation on regret and things that drag you down, and yeah. Um, so moving on though
No,
to the next
James,
what
I think we need to check out Bullseye.
Bullseye.
It's Michael Caine and Roger Moore and
Yeah,
Sally
that's.
Kirkland.
By the
I
way,
was
they
about to
were
say I
best
knew the
friends.
title because I remember seeing it to rent years ago, and I didn't get to rent it for some reason, and I because I always wanted to rent it because it's Michael Caine and Roger Moore.
And it looks like it's a ripoff of it looks like whatever that Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman movie, Chill Factor. Is that what it's called?
Oh my God, yes, Chill Factor. The
Yep.
Cold
Two
Fusion
scientists working
film.
for UK and USA invent cold fusion. They decide to auction it off to foreign nations. Two lookalike crooks decide to steal their deposits, but end up working for CIA and MI5.
Let's do it. Let's do it Saturday night.
I'm for it. It's
All
got a
right.
4.5
Pull the trigger.
rating.
Hey, but in all fairness, how much fun did we have with
Skidoo.
Skidoo?
That's why I said I'm willing to give it a
Skidoo.
shot.
Skidoo. All right, boys.
This movie called Skidoo. Skidoo. Skidoo.
We got to cover
I
through.
know.
We got to finish strong.
Okay, like I said, it's heating up. There's the next movie, November 9th, The Craze. That's Krays.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
the twin monsters.
They
A
still
twin
never
monster.
made a good movie of them.
Yeah, Legend was made after. But yeah, I agree.
Some good performances. Like that's a good. He's good in it, but it's not a good movie.
It's not a good film, no, but he is good in it.
Yeah.
That
But
that
yeah,
makes $2 million.
the craze was not good either.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see a movie about those two twins.
Well, I didn't know they were real when I first saw it.
Oh, really?
I probably not. I mean, I was in a holler in Eastern Kentucky. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, so the craze that gets overshadowed by a sequel. Speaking of Brad Dourif, Child's Play 2 makes
Yeah,
$35
I would
million dollars.
assume that was a big hit because they had
That's my
Child's Play.
least favorite.
They had Child's Play 3 in the theater next year because I think because how well Child's Play 2 did. Child's
Wait,
Play
which
2
one?
is at
Which one's he at a military school?
3.
Okay, I hate three. I like two.
And 3 is directed by Jack Bender, who would go on to direct all those wonderful Lost episodes and tons of TV that
Mm.
everybody loves. But yeah, that was his theatrical film.
Yeah, two's with him torturing the adopted family. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
and
two.
and oddly enough, picked up by Universal. It's not made by MGM. The first one was made by MGM.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, Play 2 made about $35 million during its theatrical run, but was not the winner that would go on to make the most that came out that weekend.
What was it?
Dances with Wolves
Oh
Never heard
God.
of it.
opened against Child's Play, went on to make $424 million. Or two Waterworlds.
To Tonka. I
Um,
haven't seen it in a long time. I enjoyed it as a kid. I just don't
See,
remember.
I didn't care for it as a kid, and I watched it as an adult and didn't care for it. I love hearing stories about the filmmaking process of it, but I didn't care for the film.
Hmm.
what movie is that? I watched it recently. Oh, I know what it was. My daughter and I got really into watching the show Last One Laughing, the Amazon series, where they put comedians from different parts of the world in a house together and they can't laugh at one another.
No idea, but
No,
Yeah.
I know what it is, but you've got the description wrong. But I love that show.
Okay, well, but I'm summarizing quickly. There's in the Canada one, they bring in the Native American actor. He's in
Hmm.
Dances with Wolves, and he's talking about how hard his life is. They do it to try to get other people to laugh. He's not one of the people in the house.
The British one's
So
the best one.
they bring him in. I agree, actually, and it gave me a new respect for Tom Green.
Yeah.
And I respected Tom Green in one way before, but they bring him in, and he has the entire line where he goes, you think you have a hard life? I acted opposite Kevin Costner and had to believe that could be an authentic cowboy. And it's just I couldn't stop laughing at that line. Anyway, um, that's November 9th. So Dancing with Wolves makes $424 million. November 16th, we get a movie that will make that seem like nothing.
yeah.
But first, we'll talk about Rocky 5.
Ugh.
$120 million. I thought Rocky 5 was a disappointment, but
There's
120
never
million.
been a Rocky movie that wasn't somewhat successful. There's
Yeah,
not a
they're all
Rocky
profitable.
flop.
Yeah.
The Creed movies, there's no flop.
No.
It's like, to give you an example of this, if you guys don't mind, the Hobbit trilogy came out a few years ago, came and went. And then I read an article about it going, well, every single one of them made a ton of money. They just didn't, it just wasn't Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were all quite successful. It just wasn't Lord of the Rings. And there's never a Rocky movie. And people shit on it. Like you said, now, James, I didn't think it was a flop, but I didn't know it made that kind of money. I am a little shocked, but at the same time, it just works.
Yeah. Well, and the Rocky movies, I love, and I defend the Rocky franchise. By the way, gentlemen, I don't know if you saw, they're bringing Rocky 4 back to the theater this fall. Stallone re-edited it with some scenes that got cut.
He just did that last 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
bringing
and
it
now
to
it's going to be
theaters.
there's going to be another.
They're doing a
Uh,
theatrical release again. And
I'll go if
I
you
didn't
want
get
to
to see
go.
it when they did it the first time, so I'm
I
going to go
didn't
see
either.
this in the theater.
It's going to be another montage scene that he left out of the
That's fine,
original.
dude. That's Rocky 4 is the 80th 80s movie ever, and I'll
It is
argue
the
with anybody that says it's not.
I-
It is totally an 80s film.
Yeah.
The
Rocky
script
5,
for that
though,
movie is 2 pages long.
yeah, it's an 80s movie, dude. Somebody did an 8-ball and wrote a script.
Oh, if
80
only they would let me do 8 balls. I mean, to
but
write scripts, right? That's what I was talking about.
Rocky 5 though is, I mean, it's of its time. It's a depressing downer. It's not like Copland, but it's the same sort of it's a slice of life where life has went bad and he loses everything, and it's how the 80s ended for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It is true. Yeah, it's very much of its time. And the problem is it's the third act, I know, but it's him having a street fight. It's not
Yeah.
even there's nothing grandiose about the movie at all. The only really thing that they kind of where they brought back Mickey in those flashback scenes before Burgess Meredith died, correct?
Yeah.
That's kind of the only thing it's got going for it.
Yeah. I mean, it is a depressing film,
Yeah.
but it's about him trying to reclaim some part of who he was. And yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
he's got
it,
brain damage. He's got,
it was a good
luckily, they,
film up until that last act, and that just the street fight was like took me out of it.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I
Oh,
actually,
It's
I
always been
love
my
the,
least
the part
favorite.
of the movie that I love is after the street fight, where because he's lost everything,
touch me and I'll sue.
yeah, touch me and I'll sue, and he hits him, and he goes, sue me for what? He's lost everything, and
Yeah,
it wouldn't work if he still had anything, but he's lost everything. What are you gonna take from him?
where he punches the rip off of Don King.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's
Uh,
who's
is it
also in
it is it Duke? Is that
something.
character's name
Yeah,
Duke?
he's a good character actor who's also in the Final Friday movie, the
Yep.
Jason movie. All right, Jason goes.
Um, so Rocky Five big. We also get The Rescuers Down Under, which was the first Disney animated sequel.
Yeah, my
I just
kid
want to throw
actually
that out there.
enjoyed those two movies. I hadn't seen The Rescue. I don't think I'd actually ever seen The Rescuers till I watched it with him a year or two ago.
Um, my wife had saw Rescuers Down Under first, and then went back and watched The Rescuers, and she
Yeah,
said The
me too.
Rescuers is a far darker film.
Yes, it is.
That kid being locked or put down in the mines.
Yes.
She goes, "That's a dark, dark movie for a kid to watch." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yep.
Disney got softer when they gave him an eagle. But the movie that came out, so two other theatrical releases that nobody's going to know. I'm sorry, one other one is Eating. But the movie that blew Dances with Wolves out of the water during its run, though Dances with Wolves again made $424 million. Its big competitor though, Home Alone,
Yeah.
$486 million, gentlemen.
I remember it
I
was
knew people that could quote it. They saw it so many times in theaters, and that was in small town Kentucky.
it was just I didn't see it. I saw it at the theater, but I saw it closer to Christmas because it just wouldn't die. As
Yeah,
you all, if you all
It
remember,
just
it just
kept
kept getting
going.
bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember it vividly. The theater just erupted, and I was laughing. It just is.
it
It's not a
worked.
bad movie. My kid really likes it. He likes that one and the sequel. Uh, it is not sequel aside. The first one, it still holds up fairly. Actually a really well made movie. It's probably one of Chris Columbus's best films, if not his best film. You guys got another one?
I
I don't
No,
mean,
particularly care for his Percy Jackson. I don't care for the first two. They're okay. I actually think Home Alone's his best movie.
I'd have to give it some thought. But I mean, yeah, and we still watch it. My wife watches it every Christmas because I mean, it's tied to Christmas
I didn't
memories with
like
her
it for
grandmother.
years, but my kid rediscovered it and I rewatched it and I was like, oh, I feel like I was being too much of a snob.
Yeah.
no, hold on a sec. I I gotta dispute the Home Alone just because I have a personal love for Miss Doubtfire.
Mm, that,
Oh, I haven't seen it in a long time, Chad. That may be something I see if he'll do for the next.
Both of my girls love it.
Yeah, I have, but we haven't done that. So he's been on a Jack Black kick.
how
Oh, he loves School of Rock.
how
So do my kids. Yeah.
how much of Mrs. Doubtfire do we give credit to Robin Williams for though? Because he ad libbed so much
Oh
in
no,
it.
that whole movie is Robin Williams.
That's what I mean. How much of that was written versus how much it was? And I don't know the answer.
You know
All I
what?
know
Hold
is they.
on. I'm removing them both. 9 months with Hugh Grant.
No, no,
Oh, my water broke. I'll buy you another.
Next movie. There's not much for us to add to Home Alone.
No.
no.
But it overshadows some films that come out, and what the reason I wanted to bring both these up is that you get Rocky Five, which did make $120 million during its run. You get Dances with Wolves, and you get Home Alone, and the fact that the rest of the year everybody else's numbers are low makes more sense. So let's get to the rest of the year. November 21st, we mentioned actually the Leonard Nimoy one earlier. 3 Men and a Little Lady comes out.
Yeah.
Does respectable $72 million.
Yeah.
Hidden Agenda, no idea, makes $1 million. Predator 2, $55 million.
I love Predator
I
too.
do too.
Do you know
Oh,
what
it's such a
came out
good.
against Predator 2 though? that
What?
we've actually interviewed somebody involved with, and I told him how much me and my it was one of the only movies me and my brother agreed on. Robot Jocks.
Yeah, I liked Robot Jocks as a kid. I haven't seen it in a long
I
time.
haven't either. I loved it as a kid just because I was like, that was one of those movies you never saw something like that.
Yeah, it's just there was nobody else making movies about mechs.
Yeah.
All right.
Misery, November 30th.
Boy, that's a stacked month of just
That's what I
hit.
mean. And I didn't know Misery only, I say only, but only made $61 million.
I thought it was much more a bigger
Yeah.
movie than that. Oh
Stupid
God,
Home Alone.
that's a stupid. That's just
I
really
mean, Dancing
ridiculous.
with Home Alone and Rocky Five all made way more than that and hung around for a while. So December 7th, we get The Rookie.
With Charlie Sheen
Yep,
and
and Clint Eastwood.
Clint
Clint
Eastwood.
Eastwood. That's one of Clint Eastwood's not popular films.
$22 million. The
Mhm.
Grifters made $13 million.
That's a dark movie.
I don't know that one. Who's in that?
Oh, that is Angelica Houston and John Cusack, and they're grifters, and she plays his mother, and that's all I'm going to say. Check it out. It's a dark movie.
Well, it is
I
directed by Stephen Frears, so that would
I
explain.
need to
Have
see it
neither one of you
because
ever seen it?
No,
I don't know if I
Everything
have.
you think could bad happen, she.
They end up in Vietnam in The Deer Hunter.
Oh, well, okay. It's not quite that dark.
Uh, Genuine Risk, no idea. But also Edward Scissorhands,
Yeah,
December 7th.
not a huge hit, right?
No, $53 million.
I mean, it
But
made
I
my.
mean,
But it wasn't. It was not Batman.
no, definitely a modest. So we get to December 14th, another sequel. Look Who's Talking To makes
But the dance
$47 million
sequence.
dollars.
Roseanne Barr.
Oh, Gilbert Godfrey.
Who now is it Look Who's Talking Now is when it's the dogs,
Yeah, that's Danny DeVito, and I forget who does the voice of the female dog.
but
Yeah.
also coming out against that is Mermaid.
The Cher movie.
Cher
Yeah,
movie, yeah.
yep, $35 million.
Bob Hoskins,
Um,
that's Cher and Bob Hoskins, and
mhm.
yep.
Winona Ryder.
I couldn't remember the girls who played her daughter. Thank you.
And then we get The Russia House, which was a
Oh,
Wednesday
Sean
release.
Connery
Sean Connery.
and Michelle Pfeiffer.
And then December 19th, we get Almost an Angel.
Oh my God. That's Paul Hogan, right?
Paul Hogan. I've watched that movie more than once.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
have
don't
too.
think I've ever actually seen it.
He thinks he's dead, but he's not. But then it turns out at the end he may have been because the remote control didn't even have batteries in it.
So weird.
Right, Chad? That's it, right? Because it's like, oh, he was alive the entire time, but then they go, wait a minute, this remote control doesn't even have batteries in it. How could it have been operating everything for him?
I like all the Paul Hogan films that are not Crocodile Dundee, and I still love Crocodile Dundee, but I love this. I love
Lightning Jack is a
Lightning
work of
Jack. I
art.
love.
I remember seeing that at the old Trail Theater, the old theater in Moorhead before they ripped it down.
Oh my God, I love Lightning Jack.
Awakening made $51 million.
With Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. What kind of comedy hijinks will those two get into?
Oh
Not many
man,
in that.
Spoiler,
have you ever
zero.
seen the outtakes of that movie
No, but I'm
where
sure
it's Robin
there's-
Williams being Robin Williams and Robert De Niro is just he'll giggle but he doesn't laugh, and I'm like, how are you not laughing at this? I'm like, what is in Robert De Niro's head?
I've seen. It's not a bad movie.
It's not.
I think that's another one that's based on a true story.
I think it is too, yeah, because it's about a man who's in a coma, played by
Yeah.
Robert De Niro,
And they give
and
him some sort of drug.
they give him some sort of drug, and he comes back,
Yeah,
but it's only for a short period of
it's a
time.
temporary fix. Yeah.
Bonfire of the Bandits,
Oh God, what a,
Huge bomb.
$15 million.
and that was supposed to be like a massive film, and it just bombed
And that's a
terribly.
famous Thomas Wolfe book. It's a national bestseller. Thomas Wolfe, if you don't know who he is, kids, I know James could talk about it. Just Google him. There's a bunch of books, and that was supposed to be the big movie, directed by Brian De Palma, with one of the biggest casts. Tom Hanks, Bruce
Bruce
Willis, Melanie Griffith, right?
Yep.
And Morgan Freeman is a judge, and that movie is a. I remember watching it as a kid, going, "Man, this sucks."
Oh God, I've never gotten through it.
I would
Um,
rather, I think, watch Nothing But Trouble again.
And fascinating enough, thank you, James, for bringing it up. Nothing but trouble got made or went crazy over budget because the studio Warner Brothers was paying attention to
Bonfire of the Vanities. Yeah.
Bonfire of the Vanities. It's a
Yep.
documented case of nobody was checking minding the store with Dan Aykroyd and that budget of Nothing but trouble.
What was that? And Dan Aykroyd actually, the story behind that, I think it's in the book Wild and Crazy Guys talks about that Dan Aykroyd, like they were like, well, who are we going to get to direct this? And he goes, I don't know, I can do it. And they're like, okay, yeah, no, you can do it. Like it was, you're absolutely right. They were all their attention was over here,
Oh, the attention holds. Yeah.
and he was like, I guess I could do it. And they were like, oh no, that'd be great. We can do this as your big premiere. And it was, and everything that could go wrong. And then he was too nice of a guy. So when people would be like, "Oh, can I do this in the scene?" He'd be like, "Yeah, let me get the stuff for it." And he'd order more props and he'd order all this. And he was like, and Chevy Chase even talks about it was just a case where Danny was like, "Oh, yeah, that could be interesting. Go ahead and do it. Let's see what happens."
Yeah, yeah, it's a funny story. But
Anyway,
oddly enough, Chad, the only good part of that movie I remember is Morgan Freeman at the end chastising them as the judge.
No, really.
It's sad because you've never made it that far.
I never got that far.
That's the only good part of the movie. Morgan Freeman is really good in it as a judge, just chastising of all these because they're all awful, horrible people. But keep going.
Hamlet. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It was
Is it the
about
Mel Gibson one
uh,
or the Kenneth Branagh?
The things
I think it was Branagh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hamlet. So we get to December 21st and we get the last multi-million, over $200 million
No,
success story.
no. You're both wrong. It was the Mel Gibson one. Kenneth
Oh, was
Branagh
it?
didn't come out till 1996.
I'll
Oh,
be a
my
suck
bad.
egg Democrat.
I knew it was Mel Gibson. Yeah.
Uh, so three movies come out December 21st. Only one of them is a huge hit, goes on to make $200 million. I'll do the other ones first. Vacanze de Natal, 1990. No idea.
No,
Mm.
Romantic comedy didn't chart well. The Long Walk Home, $14 million.
I've heard of it.
But I know you know the movie that went on to make $200 million and somehow beat back the forces of Dances with Wolves and Home Alone. It was the alternative if you wanted to see smart mouth kids and also wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger in your movie, Kindergarten Cop.
I saw it in the theater. I didn't know that
It's
came out
not
at
a
Christmas.
tumor. I didn't either.
$202 million.
That's him and Ivan Reitman with their second movie together.
Hmm.
It's that I haven't seen it in a long time.
I have no
enjoyed it.
problems with it. I love Kindergarten Cop.
That may be another one I showed my kid.
What's the movie that's not Kindergarten Cop that came out about the same time with Burt Reynolds? Am I making that one up?
Cop
Cop and a half.
directed
Cop and a Half,
by the Fonz.
Yes, thank you.
And it didn't come out. It came out like 5 or 6 years after this.
I
I
know,
don't
but
know
it
about
was.
Fonz. It
I
came
mean,
out
that was
later.
one I imagine got green light because they were like, "Hey, that one made $200 million. We should give this a shot." So we're to December 25th, gentlemen. The last movies that were released this year. One was supposed to be huge and ended up not being. But I'll start with the other ones first. Alice, romantic comedy. Alice, anyway.
I remember it, but I've never seen it.
Only made $7.3 million. Green Card, another romantic
With
comedy.
Gerard Depardieu and
Dude.
Andy McDowell.
Yep,
Oh man.
$30 million. But the last movie that came out this year that people were disappointed by, and it was supposed to continue that trend of huge, huge successes, The Godfather Part 3. $67 million theatrical run.
So I rewatched I watched the that re-edited version.
Mhm.
I don't know. There's still so many good scenes in that damn movie.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to do
I
an
know it's
analogy.
not as good as the other two, but that's okay. I know people say The Godfather 2 is superior to The Godfather, and I always disagree.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm gonna do an analogy you're not gonna like, but I'm gonna do it anyway because screw it. Let's not do The Godfather. Let's talk about other franchises where some parts are beloved and other parts are hated. And I'm going to use Highlander as an example.
Because that's what I think of when I think of classic cinema like The Godfather.
But listen, You watch the first Highlander movie, love it or hate it, it tells a complete story, and you're like, oh, that's compelling, or that's a complete story.
Unfortunately, that's the problem with Highlander, James, is the first movie did what?
It totally complete story.
It told the story.
But then
Yeah.
you watch Highlander 2, and I'll be honest, gentlemen, Highlander 2, especially the non-renegade cut, man, that you want to talk about a movie that doesn't make sense. Especially you watch the first one. He has full cosmic power, and then the next movie begins with him old, and there's no ozone layer. And
Right.
no explanation. That being said, you made it through Highlander 2. You get to Highlander 3, that movie makes way more sense than Highlander 2. And
But it's
maybe that's
still
what we have with The
confusing.
Godfather. Maybe that's the problem with The Godfather is I think the other thing that happens is we, to a
I swear to
certain
God, he lost
extent,
me on his point.
to a certain extent, we don't want to see the end of certain characters.
Yeah, well, he wanted to call it the death of Michael Corleone.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Which I think that might have pissed everybody off because they were waiting and waiting. It was like, when's he going to die? And then he dies in a chair.
Well, and he kind of pays for his sins, but he doesn't pay for his sins with a bullet.
Right.
Yeah.
He pays for his sins, well, as a father, and I'm assuming the other two of you agree, he pays for his sins in a much more, and a bullet would have been easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, he just dies alone.
He gets his son hates him, and his daughter who loves him is murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a bullet that should have been for him.
Yeah.
So his punishment's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, I agree. But
I agree with Chad, though. I get it as a story. It's perfect sense.
Yeah. No, I didn't mind it, but I'm just saying if you called it the death of Michael Corleone,
Yeah.
then that ended like that. That would have pissed people off way more than Godfather 3 already had.
I think that's part of it too. I think there's a certain amount of the thing. Like there's certain characters I don't need to see all the way through to their death. Like you can tell stories without that. And I think some people felt that way. Some people are like, yeah, it's fine. We didn't need, we had
Well,
Godfather.
and as much as I like The Godfather 2, The Godfather 1 actually ends one of the best endings in film history.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing he didn't want to be.
The thing he doesn't want to be. Right. And the door shuts on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And she's horrified by watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's not a word spoken.
Yep. Yeah.
It's perfect.
I think that's a reality, even if you aren't in a mafia family. I mean, there is a fear of turning into your parents on some level, right? Or turning into what you didn't want to be, turning into and realizing that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
all
why
right.
I'm proud to announce that I'll be working in a factory next week. No, I'm kidding.
You can't do calculus. You won't be no engineer. All right.
No, I couldn't be an engineer. Anyway, we have survived the 1990s, and I think unless Mick Strawn calls us up and makes us do another one, we probably won't do another year in review for a little while. Unless y'all want us to, please God, just tell us what to do.
Or we just run out of ideas.
I just want to do 94 now.
I think we need to do, what's some of the other ideas Chad pitched?
I don't know.
That's a callback to
right
earlier
now
jokes,
while
sorry.
we're recording?
Well, I mean, maybe if we just sit here and mumble a bit, people will give us ideas and we watch.
This has been Bonehead Weekly. Thank you so much for the 6 people who have listened to these 2 episodes.
Best baloney film.
This has been Bonehead.
Mm-hmm.